I have a place that I'd like to call home. You've got this look on your face, you're looking at me like a dog with a bone. How many times do I have to decline these things that you've said?
Oh my god, you can see my eye bags. Why hello there. I'd like to start off by saying that you would indeed be correct to say that I am looking like a half-dead homeless rat, because frankly speaking, yes I am. Quarantine has had its fair share of ups and downs, and I have been through the whole entire dreaded roller coaster of emotions. I have been through the manic panic, clarification, not manic pixie, manic panic breakdowns like every single second week. The first 2 weeks of quarantine, you know, they were a godsend. I loved staying at home, recharging my social battery, because that's just the way it is for introverts. But after the first 2 weeks, it was just like all downhill from there, baby, and I do not know where I went wrong. Possibly attributed to the fact that I have been spending like 10 hours plus a day on my phone. Finally a race that I can actually win, but I'm not actually proud of. Paradoxical situation for you right there. I can actually say that I am that girl that's been spending her 3 a.m. mornings scrolling on TikTok. No shame, no guilt, because my sanity is somehow balancing on the wheels of an app that is actually targeted at 15-year-old children and is actually collecting my data and sending it all to the Chinese government. Back to the topic, like the only way that I can actually motivate myself to do something that is like conventionally productive is basically making a video and having like some kind of tangible proof. And so I shall be taking you along a journey of trying to do as many productive things that I can possibly do within one day. Okay, let's go. I promise I'm fine and I'm not as unfit as I seem. Oh, I was most definitely not okay. Here I am milking wheatgrass, in fact, which doesn't taste very pleasant, as my expression basically says. Now you might be wondering right now as to why my mouth is moving in the video but I'm still doing a voiceover, and let me tell you why. My iPhone storage somehow decided to completely delete all the audio from all my videos. So skincare has been the only thing that I've been willing to splurge on in my impulse purchases during the quarantine, because my mother keeps on reminding me that my skin is currently peaking in terms of condition and will instantly crumple into a paper bag the moment I turn 25. First off, I'm using the salicylic acid mask from The Ordinary to obliterate as much oil as possible from my skin. And because I want to double the protection from my T-zone sebum production, I follow up with another salicylic acid toner by Paula's Choice, because my oily ass skin can be compared to the somewhat graphic comparison of butter melting on a pan. Also, can I just say that the word sebum gives off the most uncomfortable nature, almost as uncomfortable as moist, and it should just be abolished from the English language, but I digress. I then follow up with another The Ordinary product, niacinamide, which can, again, you guessed it, control oil production. Then I patterned the hyaluronic acid, which is good for firming your skin texture, or that's what I could just be blindly believing in because I'm part of a pyramid scheme or a cult led by Skincare by Harem, who's having The Ordinary CeraVe and Paula's Choice conquer the whole entire skincare industry. I end this with the CeraVe moisturizer alongside the CeraVe eye cream because I stress so much about the fine lines under my eyes, which honestly could be easily prevented by just not sleeping at 3 a.m, but that is seemingly an impossible situation for me. So the last step of all of this extremely vain nonsense is essentially putting on the slightest bit of makeup to just, you know, feel more put together even though I'm not really feeling it inside. Essentially external facade to cover up my internal feelings, as an English teacher would say. Already made my first mistake.
All night we ride up and down A1A. Oh, the boys in the back, man, they got the tangerine.
Hello! So, I've finished collating pretty much everything that I need for this so-called, Pinterest skinny legend aesthetic smoothie health ball, or whatever it's called for lack of a better description, with much due sarcasm placed upon the word skinny legend. Anyway, here I am committing the violent act of chopping this solidified acai piece in half so it won't viciously attack my NutriBullet, and now my hands basically frame me as a murderer, and I've obviously been watching too much CSI. Now, half a frozen banana, blueberries, some chia seeds, flax seeds, and cacao nibs, which basically taste like chocolate, and finally milk to blend it all together and get this purplish mush, which looks inedible but actually tastes incredible and will save you like $15 spent at like a bougie hipster superfood store. For the final touch, I sprinkle on some organic granola for the extra crunch. I'm basically turning into the archetypal granola girl as we speak, and yeah, bon appetit. I'm just gonna bring this out so I can I was just gonna say non-existent sun, but it appears that vitamin D is treating me in favor today. Here we see a fine specimen of a very vitamin D deficient human eating something that isn't a carb for the first time in 2 weeks. So you may be wondering why my desk came to be like this, and let me tell you, what it looks like right now is essentially a fossil of what it actually was, because I've left it like this for at least a month. Yeah, let that sink in. I got a really severe case of art block, and I decided to just let my painting just marinate for a while. So let's change this water and salvage what we can. About a month ago, I kept on binging Bob Ross videos to help me sleep because of their exquisite calming quality, and so you can probably guess how this piece first eventuated. Drawing was a huge hobby growing up, and I was obsessed with anime as a kid, so I just had sketchbooks filled with anime characters. I was a really active user of DeviantArt, and I used to also beg my parents to buy me Copic markers, but in retrospect I'm glad they never did, because they'd just be sitting there collecting dust fast forward a few years, and they were really expensive. As I grew older, I think I developed a complex that ties in with my perfectionist tendencies, which is like really vain to say, but I did end up kind of hating art, because I guess at the time I was so scared of making mistakes, so hesitant to even paint a stroke, and I would just rather not start a drawing at all because I knew I wouldn't be able to finish it perfectly. So that's basically also why I forced myself to start this painting and overcome a weakness, because I'm all about making that quarantine glow up happen. I didn't have any brown or black paint, so the houses I painted so far made it look like I was painting a village housing the Smurfs. I'm currently working on actually this very video that you're watching right now, so Videoception or whatever it may be. At this point, the Australian wildlife intercepted my audio and basically drowned out my voice, so the voiceover ensues. I basically just said that I like swapping where I work and study, thus the outdoors despite 10-degree weather, which was a bad decision in hindsight because the mosquitoes were once again out to hunt me down. Since it's winter in the southern hemisphere and days are really short, I wanted to make the most of my evening, so I changed into something more athletic. I masked up, as you should. I'm looking at all of you right now, my earphones for that main character music video moment, and I made my way to a place that I actually found using the Randonautica app, and thankfully it didn't actually take me to a dead body, or I hope it did not, or I just assume it didn't. That day it was really overcast, so there wasn't a view per se, but I came back the next day to see this. Arriving home, my parents had prepared Korean military stew, which was so good considering I had quite literally frozen my ass off outside. So I guess I will end this here, and I hope you get to spend more time with your family this quarantine and stay safe inside. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.